We're going to begin in a comfortable seated position this morning. If you have a block, we're going to come into half moon as part of the flow. So you might want a chair or a block or something to come to at that point in our session together. Otherwise, maybe beginning to roll your shoulders up, back and down, perhaps quite large, exaggerated versions, beginning to wake your body up after hopefully a good night's sleep. Beginning to find length through your spine, softness in your shoulders. And a sense of your crown of your head growing up, reaching for the sun. You may like to close your eyes or perhaps soften your gaze. And taking a moment to tune into any areas in your body of tension, tightness. Perhaps nurturing those areas with your breath, breathing in, visualizing your breath, softening, melting away any areas of tension. And also noticing areas of ease, of softness. Noticing if it feels possible to breathe in and out through your nose. Encouraging your ribcage to expand in all directions, upwards and outwards. As you inhale, perhaps you're able to soften your belly, your abdomen area as you inhale as well. Sense of your breath moving downwards as you breathe in towards your belly. And upwards as you breathe out. Breathing in, expanding your ribcage, belly area as much as you feel you're able to. Breathing out. Noticing how the body contracts a little as you exhale, empty your body of your breath. And if you feel your breath is soft, flowing, not restricted in any way, welcome to come to Surya Bedana, sun-piercing breath. And this is where we breathe in through our right nostril and out through our left. So taking your hand towards your nose. Traditionally it's the right hand. I like to invite everybody to use whichever hand you feel more comfortable using. And having maybe the thumb and ring finger, perhaps it's two different fingers on either side of your nostrils, ready to be able to gently, very softly close them at the tip of the nostril. Taking an inhalation in both nostrils and a full exhalation out. Gently closing your left nostril, breathing in through the right. Closing your right nostril and breathing out through the left. Closing your left nostril, breathing in through the right. Closing your right nostril and breathing out through the left. In through the right. And out through your left. I'm taking 7 more rounds here. If it feels restrictive in any way or uncomfortable, coming back to your conscious belly breathing. Perhaps you may notice one nostril is clearer than the other. Maybe becoming aware of a sense of clarity. And when you've taken your 7 breaths, releasing your hand. And noticing if anything has changed. Welcome to keep your eyes closed if they are closed. Nurturing your breath and its softness, its length. And gently moving towards your right hand side. So maybe your right hand comes down towards the floor, gentle side bend. Perhaps your left hand comes towards your rib cage. Gently directing your breath into the left lung. And perhaps you begin to reach up and over. When you're ready, slowly coming through center and gently taking your side bend on the left hand side. And as you do, softening gently into it, taking a few breaths here. Perhaps the right hand comes to your rib cage, directing your breath into your right lung. And then maybe your right hand reaches up and over. slowly finding your way back to centre in your own time. And coming for any support you're seated on, I'm going to come onto all fours for a moment and actually just begin to make some intuitive movement in your own time. Take any support you need for underneath fingers. You may like to take your hips from left to right a little. Perhaps you begin to make some circular movements. Feeling into what you need here. Perhaps it is a few rounds of cat-cow. Listening to your body this morning, beginning to find and create space. And when you're ready, beginning to come down towards your mat, lying down on our front. Feet, legs relaxed. We're going to come into cross your heart, a yin shape this morning. So this is where we cross our arms at our elbows. Elbows coming down towards the floor, palms facing down. And once you've found your shape here, taking a moment to check in with the lower back. So if the lower back feels a little tight this morning, doesn't feel as comfortable in this position, then it might be an option to take your elbows further forwards, or perhaps you come into crocodile, a gentle soft back bend. If cross your heart feels okay for you, you may want to bring a sense of kind of walking the fingers away. So as you walk your fingers away, you may find a slightly stronger sensation around your shoulders, perhaps in the biceps and triceps. So nothing too strong, something that you feel you can hold for about 5 to 6 breaths. Maybe you begin to soften your shoulders a little more. Noticing your breath, maybe it's changed a little in this shape you've created with your body. Notice where you can feel your breath moving to. Maybe there's a sense of movement in your lower back with the belly restricted in this shape. Taking your time to slowly ease out of the arms crossed and changing the cross of your arms. So opposite arm underneath, crossing the elbows. One side's likely to be tighter than the other, so being gentle if this is your slightly tighter side. Perhaps you begin to walk your fingers away. Two more breaths here on this side. And in your own time, gently releasing out of this shape and finding a downward facing dog. You may prefer to come into an extended child, both welcome. Beginning to create your shape. And maybe you begin to move, whether that's in child's pose, balasana, extended child, moving your hips from left to right, or perhaps in downward dog, pedaling through your feet, your legs. And eventually making it back down towards your mat. And we're coming back down into a gentle back bend sphinx. Elbows coming It's just underneath shoulders. And once again, if this feels a little too tight around your lower back, welcome to take your elbows further forwards or come into crocodile, softening your back bend in any way that supports you. And we're going to come into half sphinx, beginning to lengthen through the top of the body, lifting your heart center. Forearms are parallel. You may even like to gently press into your fingertips here, engaging your forearms. And then begin with the right knee is going to slide up to the side. So it might just be a very small movement. Perhaps the knee comes in line with your hip. Welcome here to take a few moments just to play with where this feels good for you. Also welcome to place any support you need underneath the knee. If you're on a hard floor, maybe a cushion or a soft blanket. I'm going to be here for 5 or 6 breaths, so finding a position, a shape that you know you can hold for that length of time. And as you settle into your shape, is it possible to begin to open your heart a little more, imagining the shape of a cobra, and their kind of proud chests as they rise up. And is it possible to soften your jaw, allow your tongue to rest in the lower part of your mouth? Two more breaths here on this side. And when you're ready, gently releasing through that side, coming back into a neutral position. You may like to take a couple of breaths with the hands stacked, making a soft pillow for your forehead. When you're ready, beginning to move to the other side. So coming back into your Sphinx shape, beginning to encourage the left knee out towards the left-hand side. Mindful this side's going to feel different, so creating the shape that works best for you on this side. And as you begin to find stillness in your half Sphinx, shoulders softening away from ears. Gaze can be towards the floor or perhaps just a little ahead. Making sure you've created space for your neck, softening shoulders. And maybe you begin to gently press into your fingertips. Slowly engaging through your forearms. Notice if you're sinking a little, breathing in, expanding your ribcage in all directions. When you're ready in your own time, slowly releasing the left leg, taking it easy and gently pushing back into an extended child. Big toes together, knees wide apart. Take any support you need in between knees, underneath ankles. And perhaps it's a resting child with the forehead resting on the floor or the forearms. Or maybe you begin to extend through the arms. May be helpful to rock from left to right slightly. Maybe you begin to walk your hands a little further forwards, using any movement that's helpful here in this shape. And perhaps the body just is asking for stillness. In your own time, slowly finding a downward facing dog. Beginning to spread the hands. Maybe begin to pedal your feet. And eventually, walking hands to feet or feet to hands, we're coming into Uttanasana. So taking your time to find your forward fold here. Bending your knees as much as you need to. Sitting bones rising up towards the sky. Feet can be together or hip distance apart. Softening through your neck, shoulders. And when you're ready in your own time, bringing your hands to your shins, slowly sliding up. Exhaling, releasing through your shoulders. Beginning to find the top edge of your mat, coming through some movement now. A little bit more of a flow. Finding your feet maybe hip distance apart, perhaps they're together. If you'd like a little bit more space in the shoulders, palms could face away. Breathing in, creating a circular shape as you take the arms out towards the sides, up towards the sky. Breathing out, swallow dive, folding forwards. Inhaling flat back, perhaps the hands come to the shins for these first couple of rounds. Exhaling, folding forwards. From here, we're stepping our right foot back, dropping the right knee, Anjaneyasana, taking your time to breathe in, reach up. Any tightness in shoulders, option to come into cactus arms, or maybe allow the hands to rest on the lower back or hips. From here, exhaling, folding forwards. Inhaling straight into a down dog, so finding your down dog here. Maybe you begin to move once again. It can feel quite nice to gently turn on the toes or the balls of the feet. Bending into the knees, taking the hips from side to side. Option to drop the knees and step your right foot forwards, or perhaps you lift the right leg, take a breath there, three-legged dog. Gently bending into the knee and stepping it through. Left foot follows, we're back into our Uttanasana and forward fold. As you bend into your knees a little more, breathing in, reaching up towards the sky, and breathing out to bring the hands back down to the sides of the body. Taking one more round, breathing in here, reaching up. Breathing out, swallow dive, folding forwards, bending into your knees as much as you need to. Inhaling, maybe it's a high flat back, hands coming to shins or knees. Exhaling, folding forwards. From here, left foot stepping back, dropping left knee. Anjaneyasana, keeping the right knee safe directly above the right ankle, breathing and reaching up, taking the option that best suits your arms, your shoulders. Exhaling, folding forwards. Inhaling, downward facing dog. Taking your time, spreading your hands, really beginning to find some space here. Stable base through hands, fingers. Option to drop down to the left knee, or so the knees together. Perhaps you begin to reach up through the left leg, three-legged dog, bending into the knee and swinging it through. Right foot follows into our forward fold. And breathing in, bending into your knees, reaching up towards the sky. Breathing out, hands coming back down towards the earth. So coming into a second flow, this is where we will come through half moon as an option. So welcome to have a block, something close by. And turn to change sides. Also welcome to use a chair or a wall when we get to that point. To begin with, finding a stable base, so really thinking about the surface area through your feet, lifting toes, spreading toes. On an inhalation, reaching up. Exhaling, folding forwards. Inhaling, flat back, perhaps the fingertips skim your mat. Exhaling, folding forwards. Right foot stepping back, toes grounding, right heel lifted. Left foot staying exactly where it is, breathing in our lunge. Reaching up. Trying not to wobble like me this morning. Softening through shoulders. Exhaling, folding forwards. Inhaling, plank. So finding your plank, either knees or toes. Checking your hand setup. Stable base through the hands. Weight even from the thumb to little finger. So that might involve a little bit of an internal rotation in your wrists. Inner elbows facing each other. Shoulders drawing away from ears. Option to drop down to knees, chest, chin, or perhaps you come through chaturanga, gently bending into the elbows. Hovering, gently rolling down. Couple of options here, cobra, sphinx, up dog, finding the option that works for you. If you're in cobra, elbows skimming your rib cage. Exhaling, folding forwards. Inhaling, downward facing dog. Always the option to come to child, balasana at any point. Noticing if the body's ready for stillness or it's asking for a little bit more movement. Either, both welcome. Maybe as a gentle chin tuck to soften through the back of your neck. You may like to gently push into your hands, encouraging your belly towards your thighs, lengthening through the back of your body. And step the right foot through, so that might mean dropping to knees, or perhaps you come to three-legged dog once again, reaching up through the right leg and stepping it through. From here we're coming into a warrior two. So grounding through the left foot, left toes pointing to about 10 o'clock on the face of the clock, right toes till 12, slowly finding your way up, adjusting as you need to, shorter stance and hip distance around through the feet. Offers often a little bit more stability, beginning to reach through your fingertips, softening through shoulders. Keeping the right knee above the right ankle here. It's a safety point there. Gaze over the right hand. You may like to lift your toes. Grounding through the four corners of each foot. From here, exhaling, we're coming to side angle. So right hand's going to turn to face the sky. Right forearm almost resting just in contact with the right thigh. No weight in that arm, all the weight in the legs. Left hand can stay here on the shoulder, on the hip, perhaps encouraging your left shoulder back. Perhaps you reach up and over. Creating a line from the left fingertips to the little toe edge of the left foot. On an exhalation, left hand coming down if you did raise it. Right hand either reaching towards the floor, your block, any prop that you have. Beginning to hop the left foot towards you, lifting the left leg up. Making sure the right quads are engaged, protecting the right knee. And then maybe from here you begin to turn towards the left hand side. Ardha Chandrasana, half moon. Heel reaching away, toes flexed. And if you find stillness here, maybe you begin to raise the left hand, palm facing away. This can feel lovely against a wall Sometimes I practice this in the kitchen, a great place to find some balance and support against kitchen cupboards, opening up through your heart center. Exhaling, left hand coming down towards hip, beginning to turn to face the floor of the mat. Left foot, placing the left foot down parallel or to meet the right, we're back into our forward fold. From here, bending into your knees, breathing in, reaching up towards the sky. Breathing out, floating the arms down. Taking a moment there to readjust. Perhaps the toes lift, knees soft. And in your own time, breathing in, reaching up. Breathing out, swallow dive, folding forwards. Breathing in, flat back. Breathing out, folding forwards. From here, the left foot is stepping back. We're into our standing lunge. Beginning to rise up, right knee over right ankle. Hands coming to hips or perhaps reaching up towards the sky. Finding your balance here. Often a little easier if the feet are hip distance apart or there's a shorter stance. Left hip moving forwards, right hip moving back. Exhaling, folding forwards. Inhaling, finding your plank, either on knees or toes, finding strength and length. If you're on your toes, you may like to gently rock forwards onto tiptoes, making sure navel towards spine, engage pelvic floor, Mula Bandha. Lowering down on exhalation, either knees, chest, chin or chaturanga, gently hovering over your mat. Breathing in, upward dog, cobra or sphinx. Back bend that suits you at this point this morning. Engagement of your inner thighs wherever you are. So almost like you're gripping a block with your inner thighs, supporting our sacroiliac joint. As we exhale, folding forwards. Inhaling, downward facing dog. Last downward dog. Is it possible to find stillness here in the shape, sense of peace? Adho Mukha Svanasana, so much going on. How can you make it a little quieter, a little softer for your body? Option to drop to knees and step your left foot forwards, or coming into three-legged dog, lifting the left leg behind you, bending into the knee, stepping it through. Warrior two on the other side, so planting the right foot down, just turning to about 2 o'clock on the face of the clock, beginning to rise up, adjusting as needed, finding the adjustment of your stance. Only safety instruction here is left knee over left ankle, otherwise finding a shape here in your legs that works for you. Breathing in, reaching up. Gazes over your left hand. Perhaps you begin to lift your toes, engaging through the four corners of both feet, and you may notice a change in your calf muscles, fronts of your shins. As we exhale, we're coming into side angle, so left arm coming down, forearm perhaps in contact with the left thigh, palm facing the sky, right hand to the right hip, so beginning to ensure the heart center is open. Maybe you begin to reach up and over with your right hand, creating a line from the fingertips to the little toe edge. Just checking you haven't collapsed into the left arm. You may even like to take it away, finding strength through your legs. Exhaling, right arm coming back down. If you did, take it right up and over. Left hand coming to the prop. We're coming to Ardha Chandrasana, our half moon. So we're hopping the right foot forward a little, turning maybe to look towards the floor, finding our balance, making sure the left toes are facing forwards, beginning to rise up with the right foot. As you find your balance, perhaps you begin to turn towards your right hand side, trying to keep the hips stacked. So it's almost like the two iliac crests, the frontal hip bones are in line. Reaching away with your right heel, foot flex, and if you find balance and stillness, right palm facing away for you, reaching up towards the sky. Noticing if the tongue is soft, breath flowing, left quads engaged. Exhaling, allowing the right hand to come down towards your hip, bending into the left knee a little, slowly beginning to turn towards the floor. It's almost like we're coming into Warrior 3, Virabhadrasana 3, placing the right foot on the floor, next to or parallel with your right, into forward fold. Bending into your knees when you're ready, breathing in, slowly reaching up towards the sky. Breathing out, hands coming back down to the sides of your body. In your own time, beginning to find your way back down towards the mat. And we're going to come into a wide-legged forward fold, a straddle almost. So if you'd like a block, having a block maybe turned so the corner, one corner is pointing forwards. Feet coming as wide as feels comfortable for you. And we'll come through each 3 positions as it were in a forward fold. So beginning to come through centre. Welcome to raise the arms. Perhaps the hands come towards the mat and you begin to walk your heart forwards. Feet can be relaxed here, softening through shoulders. Walking your hands as far forward as you feel you'd like to. And in your own time, walking your hands towards the right hand side. So maybe they just rest on the inside of the right leg, or perhaps a hand comes up and over, so you almost one hand on each side of your left leg. Heart still reaching towards the toes, so we're still reaching with the heart as we fold from our hips. If you'd like to go a little further, you could take the right hand over the left arm over the right leg and begin to twist a little further. In your own time, coming through centre and gently taking the hands towards the left leg. Mindful that one side's going to be a little tighter or different to the other. Maybe you're able to reach a little further or not quite as far. Offering kindness towards your body here. Acknowledging the difference between both sides and acknowledging your habitual side, the side you use a little more. In your own time, slowly finding your hands back through centre. Hands coming under knees gently and giving the knees a helping hand to come up. You may like to extend the legs out and give the knees a little bit of a movement. And when you're ready, finding your way down towards the floor for relaxation. Any shape that feels supportive for you today. That might be Shavasana. It might be a slightly different variation. Ensuring you are comfortable, you're warm. Taking any movement, adjustments you need to ensure that extra 5-10% of comfort. Becoming aware of shoulders, are they able to soften a little more? And perhaps glutes as well. Maybe your tongue can rest in the lower part of your jaw. And perhaps your eyes softly close. Following your breath in and out as you rest and restore. Taking your time to begin to take a few breaths, deeper breaths, or perhaps bring movement back towards your body. Maybe to begin to take a full body stretch, reaching away overhead with your hands, your fingertips, and reaching in the opposite direction with your toes. Maybe a sense of a hug of the knees and some gentle circles feels helpful for the lower back. And eventually finding your way onto one side, perhaps taking a moment there with an arm supporting your head. And when you're ready, using your hands to support yourself coming up to eventually find a seated shape. You may like to notice, acknowledge the space you've created in your mind, your body, for your breath. Perhaps a sense of clarity at the start of your day. Openness through your nostrils. Welcome to join me in bringing your hands together at Heart Center Anjali Mudra. Thanking yourself for practicing yoga this morning, taking time for you to come to your mat. I'm going to take my hands to my forehead for kind thoughts, to my lips for kind words, and to my heart center for kind actions. Om Shanti.